So for today's movie review, I'll be reviewing the movie Jurassic World, the fourth installment of the Jurassic Park franchise. And this movie was basically in the making for really the past decade, because the movie went through various script rewrites and trying to figure out who the cast and the director would be. Hell, actually I remember one of the earliest ideas for the movie was supposedly dinosaur human hybrids. Granted, I think that was just more of a hoax, but that was an idea potentially. And the movie itself is kind of like a Marvel reunion, because not only do we have Chris Pratt, who played Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, you also have the actress that played Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3, Bishop from Days of Future Past, the kid from Iron Man 3, and that guy from The Amazing Spider-Man. So, yeah, the movie is a Marvel reunion, but that's not my main focus of the movie review here. The big question is, how well does this movie stack up with the other Jurassic Park sequels? So the general plot of Jurassic World, basically the park is finally open and the people are getting bored of the dinosaurs there. So the people running the park figure, how can we bring more people? Let's make our own hybrid dinosaur. And so the Frankensteinosaurus Rex, or the hybrid dinosaur, escapes its padlock prison, goes on a rampage, and it's up to the raptor trainer Owen, along with the manager and a few other people, to hunt down this hybrid dinosaur while they're looking for the manager's nephews. In terms of what I liked about Jurassic World, I like the fact that the park is finally open, and the park layout itself, they put a lot of thought into it. Because if I had imagined what an actual, like, Jurassic Park themed, like, amusement park would look like, it would look something like this. Like, they really did put a lot of thought into making, like, the layout of this park. And the Velociraptor training bit with, Owen, it's actually not that ridiculous. Like, the part where you see him actually train the Velociraptors, it's actually pretty cool. And it's handled really well. And I do like how the movie deals with the themes of materialism. I figured it was different for a Jurassic Park movie instead of having to deal with the whole man versus nature thing, or nature finds a way. And the movie's pretty entertaining, with both of its action sequences and bits of humor that it has. And the CGI is pretty good. Granted, there's some spots where it was pretty bad in some spots, but it was pretty good for the most part. And there is a lot of callbacks to the original Jurassic Park, and I didn't mind those, although some of them did get in the way a bit. And there's what I disliked about Jurassic World. Like, the acting, for the most part, was just okay. But there's acting for this one character I thought was really freaking bad. Like, he's basically like the one human antagonist, and he's not subtle, but he basically makes himself obvious from the first, like, moment you hear him. Like, it's pretty bad. And like I said, the movie does have some scenes that are pretty reminiscent of Jurassic Park, but I felt there's a bit too many. Like, some of them I didn't mind, while others kind of made me wonder. Like, in the back of my mind, I know this is like a sequel, but the way the scenes play out, the movie made it look more kind of like a partial remake. Because there's this one scene where, one of the main characters is like driving his car. They happen to look in the mirror, and they see like a dinosaur chasing them. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Granted, there's a slightly different context behind it, but yeah. Lack of practical effects. Like, what made the first movie so great was a combination of both CGI and practical effects. Because Steven Spielberg, when he made that movie, knew to use the CG dinosaurs for the wide shots and use the practical props for the close-ups. Like, the movie here, they had opportunities to use practical effects, but they just CG'd it, like CGI'd it. Like, yeah, there's some cases where I can totally understand the reason for using CGI, but there's some moments where they could have easily just used a practical prop for, like, the close-ups of the dinosaurs. And the CGI, from time to time, was really a bit wonky, and the story itself is a bit predictable in terms of how it starts and ends. And the start of the movie is a bit slow, weirdly enough. Like, in terms of actually seeing a physical dinosaur, because we get to the park within like 5 minutes, but we actually have yet to see like an actual legit dinosaur for like another 15. As for the main characters, I'm gonna start with Owen, the raptor trainer. This character is actually kind of unique for a main character of a Jurassic Park movie, because he's not necessarily a scientist, unlike the previous 3 movies. This time around, the main character is a velociraptor trainer, and who used to be a part of the Navy. And the guy's your typical, like, macho man kind of thing, but he's also really comical, too. As for Claire, she's basically one of the many managers of Jurassic World. Like, she might not be the head honcho, but she's pretty up there. And she's basically the by-the-books kind of person. Like, she's so focused on her work that she forgets how old her nephews are. Although she does go through this, like, arc of, okay, she starts out being very cold and becomes a bit more kind-hearted near the end of the movie. Speaking of nephews, the pair of Zach and Gary, like, individually, I didn't think they were that interesting, but they work better as a pair. Like, if I had to describe them, they're very much like the brother-sister duo from the first movie. Like, the younger brother, Gary, is a dinosaur enthusiast, much like Tim from Jurassic Park. While the older sibling kind of goes through, like, a similar arc like his aunt, where he's pretty cold when we first meet him, but he starts to warm up as a character. Like, once he actually, hangs out with his brother, actually goes see the dinosaurs and stuff. And he's a mechanic, so there's that. As for the other employees, you got Simon, who's like the head honcho of Jurassic World. And he's basically a kid playing with new toys. Then comes Vic. Okay, I talked about this guy earlier in terms of the way the actor plays the character, which I thought was really terrible. But enough of the character's acting. But the character in the movie itself, he's basically the main human villain. And he serves as the head of the security at Jurassic World, who wants to weaponize the dinosaurs. And we have the only reoccurring human character from the first Jurassic Park movie being Dr. Henry Rue, who's basically in charge of the genetics section of the park, and basically is the one that's responsible for creating the hybrid dinosaur. As for the main villain of the movie, the Indominus Rex, the Indominus Rex is a hybrid of a T-Rex, Giganosaurus, Mongologus, Carnotaur, and a couple other theropod dinosaurs, all of a mixture of some modern animals like a tree frog and a fucking cuttlefish. And unlike most of the other dinosaurs in the movie, which rely on natural instinct, this thing's a fucking monster. Because not only is it really super fucking intelligent, it also seems to have a personality of its own. Like, the dinosaur itself is very sadistic. Like, hunting other dinosaurs, not to eat them, but for sport, and constantly chasing after the main characters in the movie. So, for my final verdict of Jurassic World, it may not be perfect in some spots of the movie, but it's definitely an entertaining sequel. And I'll say this much, it's better than Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 put together. And before I give my final rating, what did everyone else have to say about Jurassic World? So it looked like the movie got generally okay to good reviews. And so for my final rating of Jurassic World, I give it a 4 out of 5. And yeah, what's your favorite moment from any of the Jurassic Park movies? And see you later.